It's Tuesday, the 5th of April, 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
All right, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's jump into it. Story number 1 today, Sean. We love a good takeover story here, and this is a really interesting one because it's essentially one big fund manager trying to take over another big fund manager.
That's right. Perpetual wants to buy Pendal for $2.4 billion. And that was enough to send Pendal's share price up 18% yesterday. Now, the offer is a massive 40% premium to Pendal's closing price on Friday. That's huge, but it's still well below where Pendal was trading about 6 months ago. Size does matter in the fund management industry, and Perpetual is trying to get bigger. It says a deal would make it the clear leader in the local funds management industry, whereas Pendal's relatively new CEO, Nick Good, suggested it was an opportunistic offer given how much Pendal's share price has fallen. Now, both companies are what we call active fund managers. They take money, mostly from big super funds, so it's yours and my money, and use their smarts to try and outperform the market. Hasn't been a great strategy over the past decade or so, but the fundamental shift from a falling interest rate environment to a rising interest rate environment makes active investing much, much more enticing. I wonder, Michael, this could be the precursor to much more M&A activity now that the market has just settled down a little bit.
Oh, hopefully so. It's always exciting to see what comes up. Story number 2 today, Sean. Good news if you are travelling overseas, but obviously this has a much bigger impact than just for travellers. The Aussie dollar is having a good run.
Yes, it's trading above 75 US cents and around 5-month highs. Undoubtedly, higher commodity prices are helping the local unit, and iron ore yesterday pushed back around $160 a tonne. Buyers of iron ore need Aussie dollars to pay the likes of BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals for the ore. That, of course, creates demand, hence the dollar rises. Interestingly, the Financial Review does a quarterly survey of what economists think the dollar will be at the end of the year. Now, they're saying between 75 and 80 US cents. Some of them think it's somewhere between 80 and 85 US cents. Obviously, as you mentioned, great if you're traveling overseas, but it also acts as a handbrake on the economy because it makes our exports more expensive to buyers. The flip side, of course, is that imports are cheaper.
All right, story number 3, Sean, and I'm both shocked and appalled by this. Online sales fell back in February. It seems that the peak of online selling was October 2021, but since restrictions have ended, people are returning to bricks and mortar. Not me. I will not leave my house if I don't have to.
You will never do that. That's right. These are Bureau of Statistics numbers, and there's been many of these in recent weeks just showing how the world has changed because of COVID. The drop in online selling is very much in terms of non-food items. So people are still buying their groceries online, but there is definitely a fallback in terms of non-food items. There's lots of stuff that has happened over the past 2 years, which has just sort of changed a bit how we live. Much, much fewer people in custody across Australia. People actually leaving the capital cities, particularly Melbourne and Brisbane, and flooding towards the regions. The number of working days lost during COVID because of industrial disputes tumbled. Since lockdowns and restrictions have ended, they've surged again. There's also online learning. Online learning now accounts for about half of all learnings, not just studying for a degree or certificate or diploma. We're talking about personal interest learning and work-related as well. Pre-COVID, it was about 19%. Now it's about 55%. COVID has really changed the world and we're not going back.
No, certainly not. Now, story number 4, Sean, if you haven't heard much about rare earths, you are going to hear a lot about rare earths into the future because they are extremely useful things. But taxpayers are going to lend around $1 billion to help listed miner Iluka Resources build a rare earths separation facility, which has triggered a 6% jump in the company's share price.
Yeah, this is really big news. Rare earths, which ironically aren't particularly rare, are used in all sorts of things, from rechargeable batteries for cars to computers, wind turbines and superconductors. But separating the rare earths is difficult. In fact, 80% of it now is done in China. The new facility to be built by Iluka, Australia's largest rare earths miner, will be in Western Australia. It'll be the first local separation plant. Critically, it means Australian miners don't need to rely on Chinese plants to do the separation, which is what happens now, of course. The whole supply chain will be able to occur locally, and given the geopolitical times we live in, Michael, That's great news.
It's interesting, Sean, that a rare earth separation facility, it actually has to run at a very particular temperature in order to achieve separation. It's got to be exactly 6 degrees of separation.
6 degrees of separation? Michael, that's a shocker. Go on. Next story.
It was worth a try. All right, story number 5. Last one, Sean. Not a bad one to finish on. New figures show US CEOs are reaping record rewards. Some serious pay packets here.
Yes, the median rate of pay for an S&P 500 boss last year was more than $14 million according to ISS Corporate Solutions. Think about the big ones. Number one is the guy that runs Discovery. He made $247 million last year, but the one I love is Andy Jassy. He's head of Amazon. He earned $213 million, which includes stock that has vested over the past 10 years. His pay was 6,474 times the annual pay of Amazon's median employee. The irony is that the figure was released on the day its workers in New York voted to form Amazon's first ever trade union. What timing?
Yeah, that timing is not great. All right, that's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 5th of April, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't long enough for you, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.